Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have this 2023 Chevy Traverse and we're going to do the front grille chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how the front panel looks before doing the installation, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we use the gloss black material in order to black out the entire front panel. Link for the product will be provided below, but with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So before we start with the installation for the front panel, we need to make sure we prep the entire grille. So all we need is water and baby shampoo mixed together in a spray bottle. Once you have your cleaning solution, spray it onto a clean microfiber towel. And make sure to remove all the contaminants that the front grille may have. And then once you're done prepping each section of the panel, make sure that everything's completely dry. That way the adhesive on the film is able to tack down to the panel. Okay, so when it comes to the installation for the front panel, these three here are going to be the same process when it comes to installing the film to each panel. And the reason behind it, since these three are basically the same, you just follow the same steps that were done here to these other two here. So just make sure when you start, you align it. You could use the design of the cutout to align it to this section, and just make sure you're covering all of the chrome. Lay it down and then just tack it down like this. Once you've tacked it down, just grab your squeegee and make sure to remove any air that's trapped underneath the film. Once you finish tacking this section down, now we're going to bring it down, remove any air that's trapped in this middle section of the body line of the grille. So always make sure to remove all the air. If not, over time the film may lift if you don't remove any air bubbles. And now that we've secured this section, we're going to apply heat just to help it tack down underneath the panel. And then any excess material will trim off afterwards. Okay, so just apply heat underneath and then we'll tack it down. Okay, once you finish applying heat, we're going to start tacking down the film. So just take your time, tack it down each section until you reach it to this end. We should be good. And now we just trim off any excess material that we have. Create an outline with your finger. That way you know exactly where you're going to trim off the excess material. And underneath as well, there is a small gap like the one you see here. Underneath, you just create it and then trim off the excess material if you have any. And then once you're done, we'll apply heat, and then you will repeat the process for the remaining two sections in the middle here. Okay, so once you finish installing the three middle section pieces, now we can move on to the side piece. So for this section here, it's its own piece, so just make sure align it and cover the top section. So give yourself enough material to cover up to the top. Leave it like that for now, and just follow the design until you reach to the bottom. And then here, we're just going to lift it again, help it tack down around the curve, and just have it like this. And then to help it tack down around the curve here, you're going to apply a little bit of heat and just help it sit with your finger or with the squeegee. So tack it down on this curve and tack it down on this curve. Make sure you don't leave any air bubbles underneath it, that way it stays tacked down. And just do the rest for the remaining panel. Make sure you tack it down and remove any air that's underneath the film. Once you finish tacking it down, apply heat. That way we help the adhesive on the film start tacking down faster. And if there's a curve like around here, we just help the film start molding to the design of the curve. And then once we're done, we'll trim out the excess material and continue on with the side piece here. Okay, so when it comes to this one, just make sure you align this section of the design of the film right on the curved design. That way you make sure the whole chrome is being covered. So just aligning it here, tacking it down, make sure you're covering the chrome inside here too, and that's pretty much it. Grab your squeegee, start tacking down the film. Make sure to remove any air that's trapped underneath it, and just tack it down on the curve. And if you need help tacking it down around the curve, you can also apply a little bit of heat, just so that way you avoid creasing the film. So just lift it just a little bit, apply heat, hold the film, and then with your squeegee, start tacking it down at an angle. That way we don't crease it and it just falls smoothly to the panel here, you see? And if you accidentally crease the film, if it's not too deep of a crease, the film does self-heal when you apply heat, so that's a good thing about it. Just make sure not to crease it too deep, because if it is too deep, then it will show. So if it's just a small crease, you should be fine with just applying heat and it should go away. And now we just need to finish the top section, so just apply heat. Once you apply heat, hold both ends and just help it tack down. And then squeegee. Make sure you squeegee at an angle so you don't accidentally crease it. So remember, heat is your best friend. You should have no creases. And then all this excess material that we have on the top, just make sure to tuck in as much as you can. Since there is a gap here, tuck in as much as you can, as well as on the sides. And then any excess material will get trimmed off. Now trim off any extra material, and then we can move on with the next piece. So when it comes to installing this section here, start from this end and work your way until you reach it here. So make sure you just give yourself material to cover up to where the emblem is located. So that should be good there. And then carefully lift the film. And just make sure as you're placing it, you're covering the top chrome and you have enough material to cover the chrome on the bottom. Once you place it down, grab your squeegee and just start tacking it down. Remove all the air. And once you tack down the top layer, make sure to remove any air that's located on the body line. So right here. And then just hold it, apply heat, and tack it down on the bottom. So once you finish tacking down the entire panel, apply heat, that way we help it secure, and then we'll trim out the excess material, and then we should be good. So when it comes to installing this film to this section of the panel, we're first going to align it where the emblem is located. So keep in mind when you're doing the alignment, we're only covering the top section of the panel. We're not covering where the emblem is located here. So make sure you align it here. So just lift it, adjust it, and align it here. And then just follow this little body line where the emblem is located, and make sure when you're adjusting it, it's covering the top section as well. So lift, align it, cover the top, follow the design, and that should be it. So this is being covered now. So all we need to do now is just lift the film carefully and just follow the rest of the design until it reaches to this curve here. You could use the top half as a guide in order to align the film. Place it and just follow through. And just make sure to cover the curve as well. So once you place the film, grab your squeegee, tack down the film. Make sure to remove any air that's trapped underneath the film. And then for this section of the curve, just apply a little bit of heat, that way we help the film tack down. If you notice, it's not completely tacked down yet, so we just need to apply a little bit of heat just to help it sit around the curve. Once you apply heat, just hold the film and little by little help it tack down. You can use your squeegee to tack it down and just apply heat and then help it tack down around this section of the curve. And just like that. And then just finish off the rest of the panel. Apply heat if necessary, if it still keeps lifting around this edge, and if it doesn't, just push it down with your squeegee and you should be good. And just seal this section here with heat, and then once everything has been tacked down, then we could proceed with the next installation that covers this whole section here. So when it comes to installing this section of the panel, we're going to work around this section first, and then we'll finish it off with the rest of the remaining of the section of the panel. So it's important to align it here first, that way we could work our way with the rest of it. So just place the film around the chrome, that way it doesn't fall off, and start by aligning it on this edge. And make sure when you align it, you give yourself enough material to cover the top, this section here, and the bottom section. So once you have it aligned, grab your squeegee, carefully start removing any air that's trapped underneath here. And remember to squeegee at an angle, that way we don't accidentally crease the film. So cover the top, cover this edge here. And then around this area, we're going to apply just a little bit of heat just to remove these fingers and avoid creasing it when we're tagging it down. Hold it in position, and then with your squeegee, tack it down at an angle. And just do the same for the rest of the panel here. Tack it down underneath and you should be good. We'll finish trimming off this section once we finish tacking down everything, so we'll come back to it. So just finish off with the rest of the installation. So just continue where we left off, lift the film carefully, and just align it to where you left off on the chrome panel. So use it as a guide in order to align the rest of the film. And it should reach up to the edge here, and we're just slowly going to tack down everything. Make sure to remove all the air. And before we trim off any excess material, we're going to apply heat just to help the film tack down around the panel, and then we'll trim off any excess material that we have underneath or on the sides. So when it comes to installing this piece, it's only going to cover a certain amount of the grill. So just align it from the top. Make sure to remove any air that's trapped underneath here, and then just help it tack down under the curve. So just make sure to tack down everything, apply heat to help the film tack down around the curve here and around here, and then we'll trim off any excess material that's on the top section, and then we should be good. And then we'll move on to the last piece on top. So when it comes to installing the last piece that covers this top section here, it's the same steps as how we did it in the beginning with the 3 that were identical when it came to the installation. So it's just aligning this section of the film to the small design that it has here, tacking it down, lifting it, and just follow through until you reach to the other end. It's that simple. It's the same exact steps as how we did it, like I mentioned with the other one. Just make sure to remove any bubbles, and once you finish tacking everything down, apply heat to help it tack down around the curve, like how we did it here with the other ones, and then we'll trim off excess material. And then everything that was done on one end, you will repeat it to the other section of the grill. And then once you're done installing everything, you would post heat the entire panel. So once you finish installing the entire film to the front panel, the last thing to do is to grab your heat gun and apply heat throughout the entire section that was installed for the front grille. So make sure you post heat to help the adhesive on the film activate faster. Take your time going to each section, and then once you're done with this step, you're done with the installation. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the front grille chrome delete installation for the 2023 Chevy Traverse. We hope that the video helped you guys out with the installation. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.